My name's Steve and welcome to Steve's Allotment channel. I'm in the polytunnel today and I thought I'd just talk about early carrots. We like to eat carrots pretty much every day, and getting continuity of supply, especially from probably late April through to June, can be a bit of a challenge. So I'll show you what we're doing. So first off, I'll start carrots in containers like these, about 8 to 9 inches deep or something like that. And they could be a bit deeper, and it'd probably been better if I'd filled them just a little bit closer to the top. Plant those in about May time, and then I move those containers with fully formed carrots into one of the storerooms at home, and I just leave them in there from probably about December. I'll probably move them in, and then they'll keep us supplied all the way through until late April. In October, November time, I'll start some carrots in containers, and these are probably slightly deeper. This is probably a bit better, reasonably thinned out. You don't want too many in there, so I don't know how many we've got in there, about 30 or 40 carrots, something like that. And reasonable rule of thumb for early carrots is perhaps 2 inches square per carrot, something like that, 1.5 inches square per carrot. And they do reasonably well, because you're only looking for baby carrots, of course, at that time of year, because you just want them as soon as possible. You're not bothered with growing them onto maturity. So then in January you can fill these containers again and plant your carrots at a reasonable density. You can see what I tend to do is leave probably about 2 inches between each one, and what I'm doing then is I'm planting probably 3 seeds per station, and some of these have just got a little bit too leggy, and so I'm just thinning out the really leggy ones and leaving the others. But you have to germinate these inside, because in January, well, at least here, it's a little bit too cold. So just find a corner, can be a cool bedroom, and then as soon as they break through the surface, get them in the polytunnel or undercover in a greenhouse or something like that, because it's too warm in a house and they'll just grow and be a bit too leggy. And these, I'll only left them probably 2 days too long. I was just waiting for a little bit better germination, because there are like a few stations like there where basically nothing germinated at all. And I was thinking, if I could just get, just leave them a bit longer, I guess get a bit more germinated, but that was a slight mistake. So that's all thinned out now, and there's about 90 carrots in one of these, and so that's pretty good. That'll last us about a month. And so we've got another one here, so that's 2 months, and then we've got those ones in containers down there on the floor, and so it's about 3 months supply. So maybe we'll give some to our friends and family as well, and we'll put a few in salad mixes and things, so maybe being more realistic, it's 2 months. So I'm hoping that gets us through until late May, something like that, by which time we'll have the ones ready in the cold frames. I'll show you those now. So that's the cold frame that I've chosen for the carrots this year. And when you're choosing it, it's worth remembering that they're going to outgrow the size of that cold frame in probably late April, early May time. So when you take the lid off, you want to make sure that if you've got anything else in this side, that it's also something that's going to be quite happy being outside in late April. So in this case, it's perpetual spinach, which will be absolutely loving it without any protection at that time of year. And that's interplanted with radishes, and they'll be we'll be eating those anyway by then. And then that's the bed, and I shall be planting the carrots in rows about 6 inches apart, and I'll space the carrots at 1.25 inches, and I'll be using pelleted seeds and an early Nance variety. So I just need to clean this bed up a little bit, and I don't know whether it's actually that important, but I am actually going to water this before I plant them with really hot water that I'm going to bring from from home, and we'll see whether that makes a difference. I think it will just take the edge off the cold, and of course I am leaving this cover on, and it's a lovely sunny day, so that will help warm the soil up as well. And then occasionally when I do water, which will probably be only every few weeks, I'll water just again with warm water, just to help them along a little bit, and we'll see whether that makes a difference. I've previously used a hotbed where I'm actually heating the surface compost with rotting manure underneath, but I don't actually think that's necessary. I think they'll do just fine in the cold frame. Okay, so back on the allotment, and it's all watered in now, and yeah, it's definitely warmed the soil up nicely, so we'll give that a go. And it is actually going to get a bit cold tonight, but then we've got some mild nights to follow, so yeah, I'm going to close that up now, let that water drain through a bit, put the top on to keep it nice and warm, and then we'll get planting a bit later. And it's very rare that I ever sow into the ground. Most of the time what I like to do is sow into modules, but carrots are one of those rare examples, and this is what I use. I basically just always use this stick, and my approach is basically just to move it up and down like that, and just to make a drill, and it'll end up looking like this. I've ended up with 7 drills, and as I say, because I'm planting for baby carrots, I'm only going to plant, well, I'm going to plant quite densely at 1¼ inches, and I'm going to use this pelleted seed, which will make life a heck of a lot easier. And this is the stuff that I've got, cheap as chips, and just hope we get some good germination. And it's all about germination really at this time of year, just trying to get that. Those little seeds growing, once they're growing, seem to be fine. Now I'll just point out that, you know, what I would normally do is interplant, so I'd normally have radishes, for example, and carrots interplanted, or spring onions or something like that, but I found that at this time of year really it's just better not to interfere with the carrots, particularly trying to keep the light levels as high as possible. I gotta say, I really do love pelleted seed, and you can see I'm not that precise, I'm not really that bothered, but roughly an inch and a quarter or something like that between each seed, and of course they won't all germinate anyway, so now just got to get them covered up. So when I cover these carrot seeds over, the only thing I do is I make these little ridges. You can see a very loose compost on top. I always put little sticks in from my paths to mark the rows. I never bother with plastic labels, and yeah, and then I just water in, and then the water will just bed these little ridges of loose compost down. But then you don't get any kind of crusting or anything like that, which you'd get if you tamp them down with your hands. So anyway, that's what I do, and we'll see how they do. Okay, so that's me done with this video. So let me know, are you doing early carrots? And if so, how do you do them? Do you do them late in the previous year, or early this year, or do you just wait until March until you plant yours? So these are meant to be planted in March, but you know, I think with all this extra cover, I think they'll do just fine. I'll see you soon.